What's up, everybody? It's ImmaLetYouFinish, show number 188, with your favorite hosts, BBL Drizzy and Bleach Blonde, Blad Bill, Butch Blonde. Wait, what is it?
Wait a minute. Bleach Blonde,
Bad Bill, Butch Body.
But I think there's one more.
No.
That's it.
No, it's Bleach Blonde, Bad Bill, Butch Body. Say what? The best part was the say
with
what
the
now?
Comer. When Comer goes, what?
It's like,
yeah, he didn't understand it. It was great.
What is happening?
Are we what's this happening with the world, or what's this happening with our recording?
What's happening with the fucking world? It's like
that. Okay.
Bleach Blonde, Bad Built, Butch Body. Which
great.
is coming right behind BBL Drizzy. It's like
it's great. As someone who teaches writing and literature, I'm a fan of anytime somebody promotes alliteration. Because the Marjorie Taylor Greene is illiterate.
I mean, it's just
or illiterate. Anyway, it was a bittersweet weekend, Courtney.
It was a bitter sweet weekend.
Well, for one thing, Courtney and I saw each other in the flesh for the first time in like 2 years. Hello.
Absolutely. It's been a long time.
That was fun.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? All right. So obviously, the Knicks are not going to be playing the Celtics. But I will say, and I think this...
And let's just say, Knicks Celtics would have been a lot more exciting than the Celtics versus the Pacers, which starts to...
Oh, hell yeah.
I mean, congratulations to them.
Yeah, but
really,
hell yeah.
That's like,
oh, my God. Knicks Celtics is like Battle of the Network Stars.
You know what I'm saying? Knicks Celtics sounds like record ratings on television, all the things.
I'm sure ESPN is like, God damn it. Yeah. Nobody even knows where Indiana is. Knicks Celtics, we have decades of hatred or centuries of hatred. But I will say this, and I think I'm not the only one saying it. I mean, obviously everybody's disappointed, but there's not a sense of like, oh my God, the Knicks screwed it up, man. Why did they? There was a sense of like, you know what? This was a wonderful team. They loved us. We loved them. They did everything humanly possible. It's not like they were. I mean, yes, Indiana 70% from the floor.
No, but that comes still with injuries took us out.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
nobody's 100% in the playoffs, but we just were losing guys left, right, and center. And then Jalen Brunson breaks his hand, and it's just kind of like Josh Hart getting the rib and abdominal strain in the game before. OG trying to get out there, and it was clear as soon as the game started.
All you need to know about the Knicks is that when Josh Hart left and they were losing, he got a standing O. And
because
when Jalen Brunson,
he has Hart,
and when Jalen Brunson left, he got out of his Suburban to greet the fans. So you know what?
So did Josh Hart. He got up too. Yeah.
So I am, obviously disappointed, but they gave us a tremendous run. And it was a lot of fun. And do not wear your Knicks hat with pride. Do not, you know what? We did it. It was great. And I guess we're going for the Timberwolves now because they're kind of the upstart team.
Well, I will say this about our Knicks. I think that it was an exciting year. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that
great series,
and they brought the city together in a way. Like I think I've said this before on the show that everywhere I see on the street, from the supermarket to the laundromat, people are wearing Knicks shirts, Knicks hats, Knicks shorts, like the Knicks fever. There are Knicks fans hanging in cars, the Knicks fans hanging in the restaurants up here, the Knicks Knicks flags outside people's windows. So, it's really great to see when like we always say, New York City is a Knicks town, and it kind of pulled everybody together. I do want to bring up a couple of other teams. I want to say congratulations to the Rangers because our teams are doing well. The Rangers are now in the Eastern Conference Finals for the Stanley Cup, and I believe their series starts, I think, tonight. So, and the Yankees are doing really well.
Well, I mean, let's see.
But they don't. The Yankees have not had a championship in a really. The Yankees need to do well, and our Liberty, who I've decided to start watching the W. I'm like, I can't just talk about it and not support the games. And our Liberty has started the season. They're 4-0 so far.
Do you know that I was going down South Portland yesterday, and there is an official facial spa of the New York Liberty in the Barclays Center?
Work.
I mean, why not? I mean, geez. I mean, if you're going to get a facial, you might as well get the official facial. So
I mean,
yay. You know, we're bummed, but it was
But
a
it was
lot
a great
of fun.
year. It was a
And,
really good
you know,
time.
I told you I yelled at this guy at the street, or not yelled.
Mhm.
I spoke in a firm voice, as one can do when one is an elder. It was a bunch of like the youngsters, the 30-year-olds coming down the street, and this guy had his Nick hat in his hand, and I went,
Mm.
"You put that thing on. You have nothing to be ashamed of. Put that hat back on."
Right.
And his friends were like, "Thank you." And I went, "Really? Don't be one of those I just bought the Nick hat because they're doing well people."
No, we had a great year, and I
I'm
think
happy.
that listen.
happy.
Do you look and say, was it a success? No, we didn't get the chip, but was it a failure? No, I think
Not
people
at all.
didn't have a certain no one had the expectation that Knicks would finish second. No one thought that at the beginning of the year.
Well, speaking of absolute human garbage that is going down in flames and it can't happen fast enough, and absolute pieces of can I say pieces of human? I know you always get mad at me when I say bad people and human garbage. Can I say human garbage now?
No, you can say it though. Yes, you can.
I mean, I am a huge fan, as I'm sure you all are, of people who apologize after the videotape of you beating the living daylights of your girl beating the living daylights beating the living daylights out of your girlfriend is leaked. So everyone knows, everyone has seen this horrific video footage of Sean Combs basically doing what he denied he did, and basically doing exactly what Cassie said he did in her statement, in her deposition, or in her claim. And if we're only seeing a little bit of it. There's probably footage after footage after footage after footage. Now we know why he settled so fast. Supposedly he paid the hotel $50,000 for this footage to not be leaked. But then somebody said that there's a reason why it was just like somebody leaked it. Something is coming up with him and they decided to leak it. Anyway, he's garbage. No one is defending him.
Oh, I've seen some people trying to defend
Well,
him,
then I hope
which is
they're
ridiculous.
not on our...
You know what's really interesting with this whole thing? Is this was very strategic, right? Because there's strategy and there's greed. That tape was worth probably a good 6-figure payday to someone. But they didn't go to the TMZs, the Daily Mails, where most people, when they leak some shit, they went to CNN. News organizations don't pay for videos.
Right.
So this was wherever, and they have not said where they obtained it from. I feel like someone close to him,
yeah, me too,
has told somebody where to look.
Yeah, no, because then there's something.
Well, hold on, let me just finish this.
Yeah, I was going to ask.
And I feel like that because everybody keeps saying Cassie. I'm like, Cassie's cases are done. She's settled. She's done. But there are all these other cases that are, some have been quiet, and the Jane Does and the John Does. And this is the character of this man, just no matter what he says. This is his character. So going to a news organization is definitely not...
It makes it legitimate.
It makes it completely legitimate, right? Because it's like, it's not like somebody, when we go to TMZ, they're like, oh, like the Beyonce Jay-Z shit, we know. So, right, somebody leaked this, somebody got a big check.
Right.
This is somebody who's like, no, I need this person to go down.
Yeah, I mean, we don't even want to give this guy the decency of wasting breath talking about a piece of garbage he is. But I will say this: it feels like, whoever was involved in this raid, who might have been caught up in it, said, "Hey, guess what? You want to know where the tapes are? Here's where the tapes are," because they were in his house. They were in his house.
Well, no, not even about that. Or went to the hotel. Somebody brought it to them. Someone had a copy of something
and brought it to them.
Here it is, because that's so specific.
Yeah. Well, like I said,
all of the years, everything that she said, that one was really specific, and it was exactly the way she described.
Exactly. So you know what? I think it's safe to say we can assume that everything she said is 100% true.
And then, what I hate is the weird apology. I hate when people.
Oh, it wasn't an apology, though.
What was it? God and therapy.
Whatever.
And it's like, that's the oldest one in the book. No one believes you.
Well, you don't apologize after you get caught. You apologize before you get caught.
Well, especially when you lied and said you never did it.
And his eye, he looks dead. He looks dead. His eyes look dead. And you know what? Good. They're going to reopen the Kim Porter case probably. They're going to, he's done. I mean, he's really done.
I am a firm believer in, people say karma, karma, karma. But I do believe you vibrate things to you and how you act. And I absolutely think that this is a person that so many people have different stories about their interactions and what he did and how they felt treated, that it's a little bit of that. You've been given a lot. You weren't the greatest to people. And now here comes where you're going to have to pay for a little what you've been given because you haven't been good to people.
Well, to
see a woman on the floor and you just kicking. Like, I haven't watched the full. I have to be honest with you.
I saw it by mistake. Don't watch it. Don't watch it.
I don't want to watch a woman being beat up.
No, I don't want to see. I don't want to watch anybody being beat up.
I don't want to see somebody getting kicked when they're on the ground. I don't want to see somebody being dragged. I just
don't watch it. I saw it by mistake. It's horrible. He's guilty. That's it. And so hopefully we're done with him. Hopefully.
I mean, this seems like a ploy where I honestly feel like now you need to settle all those suits that are in front of you because no one's going to believe that you are a monster.
No, he's a monster and he needs to go and he's not talented and we're done with him. All right. This is the weirdest segue ever. I love Amy Winehouse. You love Amy Winehouse. Everybody loves Amy Winehouse.
I still can't believe every time she played New York, I was on a business trip. So
she only played New York twice. So don't.
But didn't you see her?
I saw her first. I saw her first.
Joe's Pub.
Yeah.
Oh, see,
it was incredible.
I mean, don't fucking come with. Well, no, she only played twice. Yeah. Well, I saw the first one. The Joe's Pub.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, yeah, kind of.
Yeah, no, it was a phenomenal show.
Right.
I mean, it was. I really have to say that.
It's a legendary show. It's like Adele's really first New York show was Joe's Pub.
No. Yeah, no, it's a phenomenal show. And okay, so there is a biopic of her. Those of you can't see it, but one of the few platinum records I've ever gotten is for the Amy Winehouse Back to Black. I was always a huge fan. I was lucky enough to interview her. I saw her 3 times. I think her death shook me in a way that not that you didn't see it coming, but still very young, incredibly talented, blah, 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 blah. All right. If there ever was not a need for a biopic, it's her life because, hold for it, there is a spectacular documentary about her, which won an Oscar, which yours truly was interviewed for. And this movie, the Amy movie, has been getting scathing reviews. And because it doesn't focus as much. I mean, I'm not going to watch it. I'm not going to pretend I'm going to watch it. It doesn't focus on her as an artist. It focuses on her love life. Really?
And they kind of make people feel like the portrayal of the father and Blake feels
because guess who licensed it to them? The father. Mitch Winehouse runs the estate, and he had a problem with the documentary because he does not. No, we don't know what goes on. He doesn't come off great in that. So now he gets to control the narrative. I've heard the woman that plays Amy Winehouse is good. At least they picked somebody who looks a little bit like her, who is British, who is Jewish, who can sing. All right, so that's good. It
underperformed in the U.S. this weekend.
Well, because it's terrible, and I honestly don't think that. Even though she was very big in the United States, I don't think she's somebody who was big enough to carry a biopic in the United States.
I don't think so either.
Yeah, I mean, she's big here, but she's still viewed as like she's viewed as a one-hit wonder in this country. Whereas in England, there's a body of work. But anyway, it's supposed to be absolutely terrible. And again, who cares? I am not a fan of biopics to begin with because
I'm a little over the fucking biopics.
Yeah, I mean, well, they just seem they're doing them for anybody. But her story is a very complicated, very, very sad, but also very triumphant story. And the thing that was so great about the documentary, and please, if you're interested in her, watch the documentary. It's available everywhere. Is that it showed you what a great artist she was. We know that her life was messed up. We know that she had drug problems. We know she had substance problems. We know she had terrible taste in men. but it also showed you what a great artist she is. And that's why she's revered, not because she had a horrible boyfriend. She's revered because she was an amazing performer. So, boo, we don't like it. Okay, I can't believe Nicki Minaj sells out arenas.
She sold out literally all. I believe she played 34 U.S. dates and sold them all out.
Big, not like
She
an
played
arena.
She played the Garden and Barclays. Yes, the
She
arena.
did Barclays? She did Barclays?
She did 2 nights at Barclays.
Oh, what do I know? I know she did 3 nights at Chicago, whatever that's called, the United Center.
United Center. Mm-hmm. No, listen, I'm really happy for her. You know, it's like
Are you?
Well, yes, because the touring industry could be crazy.
But are you happy for her? Or are you just happy that the tour is doing well? You know
I'm happy for her. I'm happy that she's out there and her fans are showing up and she's selling out the arenas. You know what I mean? Especially as a female artist, female in hip hop. You know, like how many times you think about it,
right?
Like the Latifahs, they were all in these package tours and they didn't play the arenas.
Right. I'm happy that a woman in hip hop has a longevity of a career and is selling out arenas. I'm not particularly happy for Nicki Minaj.
Right.
I mean, but I'm happy for what it represents. I'm not particularly happy for her, but I am happy for what it represents. I think it's a very good sign. And again, Missy's going out this summer for her first ever headlining tour, which I still cannot believe.
And she's done a gazillion shows, but she's never really had a headlining tour.
Doesn't that blow your mind, though?
Kind of, sort of. But when I think
she
about
had
it,
huge hit records.
When I worked at Violator, you know, she was always doing shows, but when I think about it, it was never a tour.
I know it just sort of seems crazy. I think that's great, but it's just kind of mind blowing at a time when actually her career is more nostalgia than actual. I mean, I think it will be great. I mean, she's a great performer.
With Busta Rhymes and Ciara, you know, that's going to be in New York. That's going to be insane.
Nuts.
You know,
it's nuts. And she's playing Barclays.
Two nights at Barclays. And Megan Thee Stallion has kicked off, and she's playing to full houses too. So you know, we were both like, can she do arenas? I'm glad she's doing these arenas, and her fans seem to be loving it and having.
And she's headlining as well, huh?
She's headlining with Glorilla opening for her.
Okay, you know, all my students told me that Glorilla is the one to watch. That
they love her.
Really,
Yeah.
Because she's really interesting. That she's not just the girl in the spandex with the eyelashes.
No, you look at her and you think one thing, but it's
not that.
Yeah, it's not that.
It's not that. I mean, listen. All joking aside, but Nikki, you obviously it's good for the economy. It's good for everything when. I mean, there are cities in Europe that are thriving because Taylor Swift has come to town and revitalized. I read today that Liverpool is doing like tributes to Taylor Swift throughout the entire city and tours because she's never played Liverpool before. And it's great for the economy, and it's all that stuff is fantastic. And I'm just stunned because Megan, as we've said, is not someone who's had massive commercial success. She's had hit singles, right? But has she had a hit album?
Right, that's the thing. I think she's had hit singles, but her fans, listen, I guess her fans, they rap, and they're rapping along word for word. They know the songs. And you know, it's such a streaming age. It's like, I can't even tell you because I don't pay attention to those streaming chart numbers to know what it is. And then your good buddy 50 Cent is he's reached a milestone.
He's actually Self's good buddy.
His tour has grossed over $100 million, which but he's only the third hip hop act to ever do that.
All right, so who's the first? Jay?
No. It's 2 Drake tours. And I'm thinking as many times as Jay has gone on tour. And I guess they don't consider because On the Run was him and Beyonce, right?
That was not a
Jay tour.
Right.
And so he is only the third behind Drake. Drake's 2 tours, his All a Blur tour
but
and
you know
the
what,
Aubrey and the Three Amigos tour.
Jay did a lot of big statement shows. I'm trying to think, like when I saw him, he did the show after 9/11 at Hammerstein when the album dropped. He obviously did the Garden when he was retiring.
I did that one at the Garden where he had all the guests and
everybody, but he definitely toured it. He did the tour with R. Kelly, but that wouldn't be considered his show.
No, but then he had that other tour that I went to,
he did the tour with Ja Rule back in the day.
But he had one that he was by himself that I saw both in New York and I saw in Houston with Vicky Winans.
Okay. That wait a minute. You went with Vicky Winans, or she was?
Vicky,
Okay. Because I was trying to figure. I was like, Vicky Winans and Jay-Z. One of these things is not like the other. Okay.
But at one point, like she was gonna, like Matthew was, I think, looking to maybe sign her, and
that makes
Jay
sense.
was in town, and it was like, go with Vicky tonight to the Jay-Z show.
That is so funny
at the Toyota Center.
But he definitely tours. I'm not saying he doesn't tour, but he's also somebody. He's somebody I think about. Well, you know what? I think 50 Cent is one of those stealth artists. I think he's one of these guys that Jay hasn't 50 hasn't put out a record in a minute either, but I think he's one of these people. He was just playing at that Mary J. Blige nonsense. That was that. No, a friend of mine went and she says it was not.
No, I heard.
No, she said that they didn't even open the doors until 8 o'clock.
I heard it was really, and people.
And they were showing commercials.
And some people who were supposed to be there weren't.
No, they were showing commercials. And it was almost like something must have happened. Like the lighting didn't show up on time. And then she does 4 songs. And then 50 did more stuff. And then she came back out. But it was just like, look, Mary's always great, but it was just chaotic to go to a show and they're showing videos of other artists and songs. And it was just chaotic. And Jill Scott everything was just like chaotic. Shows always start late. People outside of New York don't understand that when they say it starts at 7, that means it starts at 10. But they weren't even letting people into the venue until 8 o'clock.
That's a mess.
Usually they'll let you in and you can sit there and go to the refreshment stand. So right. I heard that my friend of mine told me she went to the show. She said it was like it was confusing. Confusing.
I heard that it was confusing. Interesting.
Yeah, interesting. It was interesting. They were showing commercials. Mm-hmm. And it went on to like midnight, of course, because they started at like 9 and it was just all right. Okay, I want everyone to sit down for this. I'm going to break some news to you. It's breaking news, Courtney. Mm-hmm. Kid Rock is a racist dumbass. Okay, bye. We'll see you next week.
He
is a black kid. Can we remind people of this? That this man has a black child who by this point might have black children of his own.
What I really don't understand about what is happening is it's like everybody's just fighting to be the lowest forms of themselves.
Well, he won.
And I do not understand this race to just be really like I don't remember growing up and everything being based around politics and everybody just suddenly grabbing onto the worst parts of humanity and then screaming America. So it's like we're saying that America is just when black people say America is racist, we're attacked, and then you kind of act racist and you're very proud of it.
Well, he's not acting racist. He is racist. Right. We should put this in context. He just did a Rolling Stone interview. First off, can I ask, why is Rolling Stone interviewing him? Who cares about Kid Rock in 2024? I mean, really. I'm
surprised.
Of
people do, evidently.
I'm surprised. Not people who can read. Surprised he hasn't been outside of the Trump trial, like rah, rah, rah. So he did an interview and he was drunk and he put a gun in the guy's face. And, I'm old enough to remember when he was a rapper. Remember that?
I remember when he was a rapper. Mm-hmm.
And then they were trying to act like he wasn't a very, very wealthy kid from the suburbs of Michigan whose father owned which is fine. You can be a rich kid and be a rapper. That's not my issue with him. And then, the bob diddy dang dingy stuff. That wasn't bad. I didn't mind that. No, but it just blows my mind that people have always been horrible. People have always been racist. People have always been misogynist. They just have a mouthpiece now. When you and I were growing up, there wasn't 24-hour cable. There wasn't social media. If you were a jerk, you could open your window and scream at your neighbor. Now you can scream at your neighbor from the privacy of your computer screen, and you're rewarded for it because everybody is, you're rewarded for your bad behavior. Now, let's be honest. When's the last time anybody went to see a Kid Rock show?
He does shows all the time, Amy.
Yeah, but where does he do shows?
And listen, he does shows with thousands upon thousands of people at them. He's not in some silo. He's not.
Well, I just don't understand.
And these people have big microphones and big megaphones that people listen to. and they're all agreeing with it, and they're like, yeah.
But nothing he says is new. That's the thing.
No, nothing he says is new.
I just, again, am astounded, and it's not like you can't be. I mean, Strom Thurmond had a black mistress, and he was a racist. But I'm just always astounded, like, oh my God, you're throwing the N-word around like it's tinsel. You have a black child that you used to use as a prop back when you were a rapper. You were always like playing up that I'm a single father of a black kid. It's just very unfortunate. It's really, I'm assuming his child doesn't talk to him. I mean, I hope. And I'm not saying that to be mean, but oh my God, can you imagine? Like, Christmas dinner at the Ritchie house must be fun, but he's horrible. There's something in parts of Michigan. I was talking to Canada. There are parts of Michigan that are just, there's the very liberal blue Iggy Pop MC5 part of Michigan. And then there's the Ted Nugent, Kid Rock part of Nugent.
That shit part is happening Michigan. In New York too. Like, you go to parts of New York, it's kind of
no, but I'm
everywhere.
saying traditionally. I'm saying that Ted Nugent.
Well, I think it's been traditionally here too. People were always afraid to kind of say these things out loud. It's how people have always felt and how they acted. But now it's like, oh, I can say all my quiet parts out loud. There's no consequence for this. Like, I can stand at a woman's graduation at a Catholic college and tell them, yeah, you're being lied to. Honestly, the best thing is going to be like when you get married and have your family and have your children at their graduation.
Yeah, well, I mean, welcome to being a woman, Courtney. This is what men think. Not men, just this particular guy. And most people have dismissed him. I don't even, who is this guy? He kicks a ball. He's not even really a football player.
But that's the thing. I think that is the thing that I think people are making the mistake. There's not a lot of people. People dismiss, and there are a lot of people who are taking on this word. That is what's happening in this country. And I think it's a big mistake for people to keep ignoring and thinking that, oh, no, it's not that big a movement. Because I'm just saying, look at the shit that's changing. You have the black boy in Texas, the young man who's an honor student, not able to go to school because they don't like his locks. As he said, your hair's not supposed to be below your ears, but his hair is always pinned up. Won't let him in school. Changing those schools in Virginia back to Confederate names. A black woman in North Carolina who has a black children's bookstore.
Watch the documentary.
A black children's bookstore who is forced to close her bookstore just because of death threats. This country is doing some crazy shit.
This country has always done crazy shit. We're just more aware.
But the things that were in the shadows are now celebrated to come out, and they have a platform.
They always, but I'm saying, so watch the Black Twitter documentary. I did watch it. It's very interesting. It speaks a lot to this. Did you watch it at all?
I haven't watched it.
It's really, really good because it does speak to, this country and most countries, you go left and then you go right. It's always back and forth. England has Labour and then they have Tory. They have a socialist and then. So that's what happened. We had a relatively progressive guy, and now just get out and vote, people. I don't care if you just get out and vote. Please get out and vote.
And that we're going to take a quick break and lighten it back up and be right back. Did I just hear bell chimes?
Yes, I live near every church in America.
I'm looking around. I'm like,
every day at 3:00. Brooklyn is the borough of churches.
Oh,
that's what its nickname is.
And we're back.
Lots of records came out this week.
So many records came out this week.
So many
records. It's making me so happy. I know you're really enjoying this Billie Eilish.
Me and every critic in America. And internationally, it hasn't gotten one bad review, so I'm not an anomaly here.
Okay, all right.
I really like it a lot. I'll tell you why I like it. First of all, I'm a fan of hers, 100%. I think I don't want to compare artists, but if we're going to look at pound for pound, songwriter, production, growth, saying something in the girl category. Oh my God, she's 100 times more interesting than Taylor Swift. I mean, I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
I think her brother.
I feel like she talks about a bunch of different things. I feel like Taylor Swift. You're not.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
We have the same criticism of her,
right? But that's what I'm saying. So I'm just saying, if you're going to go and I'm not doing it, but I'm saying I think Billie Eilish is a much more versatile artist. I think Phineas is I think this guy is just a phenomenal producer. I think that they
Get
write
ready to
great
introduce
songs.
our guest. Our guest is here.
Oh, wait. All right. We'll talk about it afterwards. Okay, look, Terrence, look what I'm wearing. Look.
All right, Amy, you have to introduce him properly.
Look what I'm wearing. All right. Can I use your government name for 1 second?
That's fine. It's Googleable.
All right. All right. Our guest today is my old friend, and I can say that because I have known him since he was 6 years old.
Yes.
And somewhere I have a picture of you and Lateef and John doing the buffalo stance at the end of the block, but is DJ Self, the Prince of New York, mixtape master, DJ, tour DJ, radio DJ, and someone who I have had I just adore you. You know that, Terrence, and his name's Terrence. And he's great. And I mean, I was telling Courtney when Lucian had his bike stolen, which means he left it outside without locking it up. Terrence stuck him in the car, drove him around the Walt Whitman houses, pretending that we were going to find it. When Lucian junior high I still have the set list from the junior high graduation of Lucian's mixtape. One side said stuff. One side says stuff I want to listen to, and then the other side says stuff the girls want to listen to.
Wow.
Anyway, welcome to the show. How are you, first off?
First off, let me say, just in case anybody's listening, now I go by the Gwinin Gawd DJ Self because I tried to trademark the Prince of New York and I couldn't. So
I'm sorry.
No, there's nothing wrong with it. I think this is important for anybody listening. So I felt it difficult for me to go by a name that I couldn't own. So
right.
So now I go by the Gwinin Gawd DJ Self because I trademark Gwinin and everything that's underneath Gwinin.
And you have great merch, right? So talk about some of your business ventures.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. I'm so outdated.
So no, that's fine. That's classic. So ever since I was DJing, I wanted to find a way to promote myself. And when I first started DJing, this was pre-social media, pre-anything. I decided to make T-shirts, which one that Amy has on. I decided to make T-shirts because I felt like every time my friends, they used to go downtown Brooklyn and they used to wear the T-shirt. So by them wearing that T-shirt, people used to read the shirt and it said DJ Self, DJ Self. So that was a form of promotion for me, like pre-flyers, because people didn't really like to take flyers, or if they grabbed the flyer, they threw it on the floor. So people wearing the T-shirt was a part of promotion for me. Then I started learning that people wanted to buy the T-shirt, which I started learning about merch early on in my DJ career, and I always kept merch as a staple of things that I do.
Yeah, and it's smart because
it's always smart. It's the branding. People like that is understanding how to brand yourself, especially as a DJ, is literally one of the most important things you could do, because Amy and I talk about this all the time. I think DJs have been incredibly disrespected, even around the time of the 50th anniversary of hip hop. I feel like we weren't actually talking about DJs. And now I think that everybody thinks they can be a DJ because you can have software on your computer.
It's easy, accessible now. Yes.
And now, so everybody's just like, well, I'm a DJ. You know what I mean?
See, to be honest with you, I'm happy. Why? Because I feel like that keeps music alive. And when I use that word, keep music alive, to me, music is what it is to you. Because what music that I particularly like or grew up to, or what the feeling of the music is to me, may not be to you. So me personally, when some people say, oh, I'm a DJ, I do like it. Just me. So other people may say no. The reason why, again, is one, it keeps the music alive. Two, people express themselves through music. sometimes they express themselves through clothing, but they express themselves through music also. And it helps me as a DJ because if you have the capability of making a playlist or playing something, I could be like, oh, okay, these people like this or this person like this, or I forgot about this song, because there's millions of songs and you can forget about. So I embrace it. Now, the maybe what I may not embrace is someone maybe posing as a legendary, I'm a legendary DJ or something, maybe not that. But as far as people just picking up the software, I'm fine.
No, and I hear you, and I completely understand that. And I love that more people love music. I just think that there's a lot of bad DJs. you know what I mean? There's a lot of bad ones.
But there's a lot of bad everything, right?
Yeah, but I feel like it's a craft, it's a skill, like love it. You know what I mean? It's not just because you can do it. And I hate when people feel like I've got 8,000 songs, so I'm going to play 7,500 of them in one set.
I agree. I agree. I'm just, I guess, because of the love of music is everyone's taste.
Yeah.
So that's why in the essence is like you can't please everybody, because I'm pretty sure that I'm not someone's favorite DJ or I suck to some people also, so I mean I've just learned that it's impossible to please everyone.
Let me ask you something. So again, the very first time, this is true, Courtney, the very first time I ever heard the name Jay-Z was through Terrence, Self, and Lateef and Michael, all the kids on my block. And I'm just curious, we just looked at 50th. And what drew you to, you're a Brooklyn kid, always been into music. What drew you to hip hop? What did it say to you that you said, yeah, I'm going to make this my world?
Again, Court. Me and Amy are from the same block. Not alone the same neighborhood. She's more like the auntie, and that might be putting the age up there. But
no,
hey,
I am fully aware of how old I am. Trust me.
Cool. More of the auntie of the neighborhood. And I don't know if she remembers. Our neighborhood wasn't. I would never use the word full of like drug dealers and stuff like the bad people. We didn't go like that. Our neighborhood wasn't like the people. I'd never tell people I grew up in the hood, because I didn't. You understand? We didn't have the hood. But the number one thing that my peers did, we were shoplifters. We were very much into shoplifting polo clothes, and it took me one time for my two friends. This particular time I didn't go, and they got arrested for shoplifting in Franklin Mills. And a friend of mine, his mother was Jamaican, and she used to beat them with wooden sticks in the middle of the street. And I don't know if you remember Phil. So
yes,
but this particular time, my brother had I don't know if it was Curtis Blow, If I Ruled the World, or Ed O.G. and the Bulldogs, I Gotta Have It. I know that's a big time frame difference, but so that day I stayed home listening to music, and they all got arrested, and I was like, yo, this keeps me out of trouble. So that's what made me say, let me fall in love with this music, because my friends continue to do shoplifting and stuff and got arrested, out of jail, in and out of jail. And even to this day, I've never been in a jail cell. And I think that's largely through having, being a DJ.
Music gave you another purpose.
Plus, the people on the block would have kicked your ass.
Yes.
I
remember your mom very, very fondly. She would have kicked your mother would have kicked your ass. Yes, believe me.
I do have a Jay-Z story. Court, I don't know if you're familiar with our neighborhood. We're from Fort Greene, Brooklyn.
I know Fort Greene. I was born in Brooklyn.
The Brooklyn Boheme. And Spike Lee used to throw block parties.
I've been to.
And this particular time, Spike Lee threw a block party, and I saw Jay-Z on the block. And I remember Jay-Z because he had a Lexus which was called a GS 300, and that was like the supercar of the day. And as a kid, every kid always look at a car and say, "I wish that was my car. I wish that was my car." So that car stuck out, and I got the courage to ask him. I said, "Hey, could you come upstairs to my house and kick a freestyle?" Because
whoa, he came up to 101.
Yes. Right. So
where was I?
Yeah. So I don't think he was in 101 at this time.
No, I was at 40 still. Yeah.
So now locally, I used to have all of the local rappers when my mother was either at work or went somewhere, whatever, come and rap, on a microphone and 2 turntables and just record it. So I was aware of how to record. So Jay-Z was with like 5 or 6 people, and he was like, "How big is your room?" I said, I have a small room with bunk beds. So he said, "I'll come by myself." So Jay-Z actually came upstairs by himself and did a freestyle for me. The freestyle, he did like a whole verse. He did a freestyle, shouted me out, everything. And we exchanged, at this time, I think it was beeper numbers. And we exchanged numbers, and he left, and I forgot to record it.
Oh, wow.
Right? But
Sorry.
I beat Jay-Z, and I texted, "Hey, I forgot to record it." The next day, he came back and did it over again.
Wow.
He came back the next day and did it over again.
It never occurred to you at any point to go down to 40. You knew exactly where I lived and said, "Auntie Amy, drag your ass up here for a second."
Well, what's Jay-Z's first album?
Reasonable Doubt. That's 96.
This is Reasonable Doubt Jay-Z.
All right, 96, right?
So Reasonable Doubt Jay-Z wasn't the Jay-Z, this was Reasonable Doubt Jay-Z.
Okay.
So he, again, it just, for me, it was more that he had this Lexus GS 300 car that I was just like, wow. You understand what I'm saying? So
yeah,
that was more of it.
Did you keep in touch with him after?
Do you still have that recording somewhere?
You can find it on YouTube, and you can just search DJ Self, Jay-Z Freestyle. It's there.
Wow. Did you put on? I still have your mixtapes here. I'm looking for them right now.
And it is a verse that I've never heard. Like, it wasn't like he gave me like something off of his, it just, I'd never heard this verse still to this day. Never heard the verse.
That's like absolutely crazy. So how to talk about how you kind of made your way up the ranks. You were making your mixtapes. I know you were a tour DJ for a while, right? With Mos Def, weren't you touring with him?
So when I first started DJing, I think it was luck also for me. I don't know if Amy remembers or recognized, because Amy was a journalist and is, and at the time, before then, the labels used to send journalists music first to review. And I used to, it was also my brother dabbled in journalism.
Oh, right. I remember that.
So I was fortunate to, I used to beg everybody, "Oh, you got this tape, you got this song," just beg everybody for their throwaways, I guess. Because after they listen to it, they just throw, "I don't need, there's too much room in my house." But, those were treasures for me. And so I used to have these type of music, the music beforehand, and I used to know what would be hot, what's coming out first. Also, in our neighborhood, I think that growing up in Fort Greene, that neighborhood was, when you made it, you moved there. That's how I felt. So when I say that, meaning like, early Bad Boy, there were people that worked for Bad Boy. So, I just kind of like got the head start with getting music. So now also I feel like, and I always tell this in Brooklyn, we don't have millions of DJs on each block like I would say Harlem or the Bronx. In the Bronx, you can have a building, and the building has 40 DJs there.
It's true.
Where in Brooklyn, each neighborhood has their staple DJ. There may be other DJs, but there's, each neighborhood has their staple DJ. And I think in our neighborhood there wasn't one. The next neighborhood, which would probably be LG, that's where Mr. C and I think DJ Lance, but they were a little bit older than me. And then another way was like Gowanus and Wyckoff was DJ Goldfinger. So Fort Greene didn't really have a staple DJ in my mind. So it was easy for me to be that DJ in Fort Greene. And then again, it was like, this is the place where everybody wanted to go when they made money. So now I had a whole bunch of like leeways. Also, I was the one that my older friends, I took their ID and act like I was older and I was in the club, like, and if the club opened at 11 and from 11 to 12 you free, 11 o'clock I was there to get in free, because I didn't have the money to to pay. So 11 o'clock I got in those clubs free. And most of the time, this was when label reps and things like that used to come with records to bring to the DJ. And sometimes I would take the scraps. I didn't mind taking scraps and taking them home. So, I didn't go to the club for women. I went to the club for the free music that they were bringing to the DJs.
No, it was. I remember back in the time when I worked at Columbia and test pressings and getting a box of 12 inches and being like, we're going out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, we're going out.
I was the kid to grab them.
Oh no, and
one for me.
Yeah, Fort Greene back in the 90s, I mean, there was nothing but, I used to feel bad for our mailman because it was like he was literally, every other building had like 15 packages of albums he had to drop off at CDs. It was like, that was always the joke, right? We were all living out here, all these writers and DJs and musicians and stuff, and we had no place to hang out. Yeah. There was no place to go. It's like, look, we're all here. Let's go to Frank's, or something.
But radio also became important in your career. So like, how did you, what led you in the radio direction? Was that something you always saw for yourself?
Yes, I think as far as being a DJ, radio is like the NBA. And, once you make radio, it's like, that's like you kind of like made it. The misconception is that I've been on the radio as long as a lot of these greats. And I think I got into the radio game, I want to use the word late because I just didn't play the politic role. Also, when early in my career, I formed alliances with DJ Goldfinger. And Goldfinger...
from Beat Street? The guy from Beat Street?
Yeah, so Goldfinger... was like the arch enemy of the radio DJ, so they never let me in. So when I use that word, if I use like a Funkmaster Flex, I think he's been on the radio for 30 plus years. I'll use Clue, maybe 25 plus years. Envy, 20 years. I'm trying to think of other greats. But
Red Alert, like Red Alert, or
Red Alert, maybe 40 years. It's that's a little higher.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of other. Well, I'm using Envy like 20 plus years, and then when it comes to me, I've been on the radio for maybe 10 years. So like they had like a big head start on me, but I think that a lot of they put me in as my peers, and they had like a decade plus head start on me with experience. But getting on radio is just like the NBA. It's like, oh my God, I made it. And I used to just beat the clubs up to a point where they was building a new station in New York called Power 105. And at the time when they first started, it seemed like this was where all the people came when their career was over. And they had like a whole bunch of older or ex-jocks of Hot 97 there. And then they didn't really have too many DJs. Like Hot 97 may have had like 20 DJs and Power had like 2. And the 2 that I remember was Sus One, and then they grabbed Clue. So it was just them 2 there. So it wasn't the cool place to be. Everybody, if you in New York, everybody wanted to be.
They wanted to be a Hot 97, right?
Yes. So there were two guys from Boston. One name was G Spin, another guy named Cadillac Jack. They came to New York, and they both were they got the new positions of being the program director, and they wanted to change that narrative. And they was asking around, like asking the street, who's the person that's not on the radio, that's the guy, and everybody was self. And I took the chance of going there because, to be honest, you're from New York. You want to be on Hot 90s.
You want to be where
You're
everybody
a
thinks it's
baseball
hot,
player.
right?
No, you want a baseball player. You want to play on the Yankees. You understand? Even if the Mets is winning,
you want to be a
still
Yankee. It's
want to
true.
be on the Yankees.
True.
You understand? So it was just like that, and then I think I kind of influenced everyone to say, hey, this place is cool. And then that's when Envy comes, this is where Pro Style comes, this is where Charlemagne the God comes. Like a lot of them came after me, and I feel like I made it the cool place to be. Along with they started coming with the bag for everybody, the money. So
yeah, that's not bad. I want to ask you about Love and Hip Hop. Now, how did that happen? And
so Love and Hip Hop, a friend of mine, I forgot how I met her, to be honest with you, but her name was Amber. So Amber, she asked me, she's like, oh, you should do Love and Hip Hop, because at the time, again, I'm one of the prominent DJs, and when they were interviewing people, my name always came up.
Right.
How did you start? Oh, Self did this for me. Self did this. So my name came up. And this was 2014. And at the time, again, this is the place where the washed up rappers was deemed to go.
Right.
And I was like, I'm not like them. They old, and I'm not doing that. I said no. So I said no. 2015, the popularity of Stevie J and Jocelyn came out. And everybody was Stevie J, Jocelyn. It was no longer Love and Hip Hop. It was Stevie J and Jocelyn show. And I'm going back. So a friend of mine, his name was Lenny the Barber. He was a producer on the show. Also, my friend
Lenny's great. We love Lenny.
Yes, a friend, my friend Amber, her best friend, which her name was Marty. She was the producer. So it was like, okay, you know what? I'll do it, because they all telling. I know the producers is not like it's like far off.
right.
So then in my mind, I'm like, well, if I'm gonna do the show, I got to figure out how could it be the Self and somebody else show like Stevie J and Jocelyn. So then I saw Cardi B, and a friend of mine brought her to me to my radio show, because I have a thing called Topic Time. I noticed that a lot of people were calling up to speak to her. And this time she was a stripper. She was a dancer, and a lot of people was calling up. Like, I was like, whoa, this girl is popular. Everybody want to, speak to her. So I asked her to do Love and Hip Hop. I said, oh, you want to do Love and Hip Hop? She was like, what is that? I said, well, it's kind of like relationships, maybe we should date. And then she was like, nah, I don't want to do that. So she turned me down.
Her loss, Cardi.
So she turned me down. Then I met a girl named Abby. These are all the Googleable people. I think now her high point is she's in Drake's No Guidance video, like the main girl in the video. And her and Cardi at the time were like equal. It's just Cardi was more unpolished. Abby was more polished at the time. And so we were all, me and the Abby girl was set to do the audition. The day before, Abby told me I don't want to do it. So now I got like 8 hours until audition. I have no girl. In comes Cardi. Oh, I heard you doing it with Abby. I hate her. I was like, well, I'll diss her for you. You want to come? Okay, cool. So that's how. So then we bring her. I bring her to the audition, and the weird part was they turned her down. Love and Hip Hop didn't see the vision, and they told me no. So then luckily in my back pocket I had the producer, which was Lenny, and the other producer, which was Marty, as friends. They really wanted me on the show, so they said, "This is what we'll do. We'll give her 3 episodes." After the 3 episodes, we'll see how it goes. And I said, fine, that's fair enough. So we did the 3 episodes. They didn't like her. They said to me, they just didn't like her. And I remember that. And then they stopped filming her. The first show came on and they were banking on Remy Ma because she had just got out of jail. So the whole money, what they call it, they bet the sink on Remy Ma. Everything was Remy Ma, Remy Ma. And again, this is all Googleable. So the first episode didn't have Cardi at all. So now the first episode comes on, and it was based around Remy Ma and me, to be honest with you, because that's what they were banking on. And the social media went crazy, like, where's Cardi? Where's Cardi? Where's Cardi? Where's Cardi? So I get a call from the head executive at VH1. They say, hey, we want to take you to dinner. I'm hyped. I'm like, oh, they love me. Calling me, can you get Cardi? Can you get Cardi to film more? And I'm like, I thought it was about me. Like, you understand? They calling me about her. I said, well, this the girl that y'all told me y'all didn't want. Like, now you want her? Like, so now I gotta call her and suck up to her to get her to film because she was feeling away because they didn't want to film her.
Right.
Yeah, so they didn't give her no contract. They gave her nothing. You know, so now I'm asking her because again she's not getting paid, so she didn't want to do it because it was no pay because they didn't want her. So now I'm gassing her, yo, come on, let's do it, blah blah blah. So I'm telling her, maybe you should try to rap.
Oh God.
So she told me, oh, I used to like rapping, and then we just said, all right, let's try rapping. A friend of mine, his name was Shaft. He was giving her songs, but it was like house songs in the beginning, so they wasn't really working. Then the songs were like novelty songs, like a parody songs. They wasn't working. They put Cardi B on the second episode, which was something that we filmed out of the first original 3, and everybody liked it. So they filmed her whole season in a week. Prior to so while the show was running, they filmed her the whole week. So that first season, it was like a week's worth of episodes that they filmed for her. And then the next season, she has bargaining power, so they want to give her a contract. So it was like, okay, you got to pay now, So that's how that went.
Were you ever gonna? I mean, the rumor had always been that she was on your label, and then Atlantic basically got her away from you.
No, so again, I think I don't know if that was a television story, and or I remember one time we did the Breakfast Club, and Charlemagne was like, "Oh, you picked Mariah Lynn over Cardi B," and I think people deemed that as law, and I'm like, "Well, it's a television show." You understand what I'm saying? So, I also thought that people would be smart enough because when I did Love and Hip Hop, my goal wasn't to have a record label. I didn't have a record label. I was a DJ. I was a radio DJ. I was 3-4 years in and being on radio, so record label was nowhere near in my mind. Also, I never knew the power that a DJ has when it comes to artists. So me saying that, it was nowhere near me, trying to have a record label because all this that we going is started in 2015. My record label that I eventually formed started in 2017, which is 2 years later. So I didn't even have a record label to sign anyone to. I think that I think largely the Love and Hip Hop was creating a storyline of the underdog rising, and I think people bought it.
Right. Well, I just want to I hope, and then we'll talk about Mr. C a little bit, and then we'll wrap. No pun intended. But I do want to. I hope that whole Creep Squad thing was a TV fiction thing because we were like, oh, Terrence. There are many conversations in the laundry room for those of us who knew you going, Terrence.
So now the show was largely about relationships,
right?
And again, I didn't know. This is my first time going on TV. I didn't know anything about TV. I didn't know that the things you say or do on TV, people deem to really believe. Like, people going in laundry rooms and talking about. I'm just like, this is a television show. Hello, like
nobody realized that. They thought that especially when Love and Hip Hop came out, people really thought, no,
It was
this
happening.
is really happening. We're following these people's lives. They didn't realize, there might be storylines and how that story is being. I still think even part to this day with some of it that you watch with the fan base of the Love and Hip Hops.
Well,
I don't think they think of it that way.
My mindset is like certain things that's the obvious, and I always tell people that I guess it's not too obvious because the quote that a wise person told me is the best way to hide something is to put it right in their face. Mm-hmm. And it's like, okay, the first season it was like, okay, I'm dating two people, so it's like, would I be that dumb to go on television dating two people because they're gonna see it? They got eyes, like, so it's like, could you be that stupid? Like, you understand what I'm saying? Like, it's like I'm going to a baseball game and they put the Kiss Jumbotron and I'm cheating on my wife and I kiss the girl that I'm cheating with on the Kiss Tron. Like, yo, you're going to get caught, meatball. You understand? So again, I didn't know that people took those things real seriously. So
we knew it was exaggerated, and a part of it was, but we were just, we hold you in a higher regard.
No, so now I'm already in the pot, and when I use the word in the pot, I am now the television reality thing. So now I have to think of part two. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, I can't date girls now because every girl think I'm a cheater. Like, every girl, oh, you cheated, you got this. So. Right. So now I said, I'm not doing no girlfriend on television, nothing, because people really believe this. So now I had to figure out a way to stay on television without being in a relationship because the show is about relationships. You understand? So now they have the Creep Squad. So I'm like, okay, cool. Let me align myself with them because they have a kind of like a storyline. So, and the way you get paid on the show is per episode. Like you can film 100 scenes and they only air one. You only get paid for one. So it's like you worked for free for 100 times, but so now I know that the highly favored is Rich Dollars. I know he's the favorite, so I'm gonna stay next to him because if I'm in the scene with him, I know I'm gonna get paid.
You're gonna get on television.
You're smart, yeah.
Yes, you understand? So yeah. I'm gonna align myself with the favorites. You understand, like that. So now, but again. I always tell people you the best thing to hide in their face. So yeah, I did the Creep Squad thing, but I didn't even have a girlfriend. I didn't have a girlfriend. I didn't date anyone. I didn't do nothing to no one like for 2-3 seasons. But but you saying Creep Squad, you automatically think something like that. But my actions wasn't creep-like.
Well, we knew that. Those of us who knew you knew that. We knew you were just doing it for TV time. I'm just saying, we were hoping that you were not. We were like, no, don't do that. I want to ask you.
I have one thing in relation to that. So after you did it, was it really great for bookings? Did you find being on television, you were being booked to DJ a lot more, maybe travel more?
Yeah, all right. So I always tell it was like a gift and a curse. The curse part was the notion is, hey, he didn't believe in Cardi B. He thought he wanted her not to do good. So the Cardi B followers always like, oh, he's the bad guy. Right. The pure musicians or people who like music or promoters or people who don't care about gossip stuff definitely booked me. And I always tell people that we are fortunate to live in big cities and we take advantage of that. Meaning, I always tell people I can go to New York, Atlanta, Miami, LA, or Chicago, and I'll be a regular person. Any other city, I'm running through the mall or taking pictures and different things like that because those cities don't see what we take advantage of. Right. So me saying that, the bookings and things of me being a DJ, because, I actually have a talent of being a DJ. I got to go to Killeen, Texas. I've never heard of Killeen, Texas in my life, but I'm DJing in Killeen, Texas, Champaign, Illinois, Allentown, Pennsylvania, different parts of Florida. Like, it's just like, Claremont, Florida, different thing, Tampa. And I'm just like, wow, these things I would have never gotten to if I stayed in New York and just did Power 105, because Power 105 is just the tri-state area of Connecticut, New York, and New Jersey. So the television did get me in homes.
Yeah. Let me just ask you, because I know you recently hosted a memorial for Mr. C at the Paramount. Just wanted to, if you could talk a little bit about your friendship with him, because obviously it was a very emotional moment for you to put that together.
So now, I don't know if it was a higher being or something like that. Me and Mr. C, for the last 3 years of his life, got very close. We've known of each other, but we got very close the last 3 years of his life. And as him, what his sister told me, I was probably the last person. I don't want to say the part was the last person he spoke to. We spoke, if not daily, every other day. We just spoke about different things, not only just music, but just different things, period. And I don't know if he knew certain things to say, hey, well, let me just pick somebody to talk to or give them jewels. That part I don't know, obviously, because he's not around. But the illness that he had, he never told me. And again, I'm telling you, we spoke every day. So he passed away from I don't know if it's four or five. I can't remember, but it was kidney failure. Diabetes, and cardiac. His heart stopped. So that's what he passed away, and he passed away in his sleep. So when he passed away, his sister called me because I guess she looked through his phone and she's like, "Oh, I see that y'all spoke often." And she was asking me to help her with the music wise, to put his thing together. So originally she wanted it in the Barclays Center. So I asked her if she needed help. She said she has it. A week passed, nothing happened. So she wound up calling me and saying, like, the people that she confided in didn't make it happen. So this particular time, I'm a great fan of juniors. Everyone hates juniors. I don't know why.
Why does everyone hate juniors?
I have no clue, right? So I tell people juniors are ill, but I remember as a child, juniors was the it place to go, or that was a treat.
Yeah. He used to have the best black and white milkshakes, and I would go there for a cheeseburger deluxe.
And it was
I love juniors.
And when Lucian was little, it was the only place to take a kid, because the only place a kid could sit and eat without anybody. Those little baskets with the muffins,
chocolate cake that I love.
And the muffins. Whatever.
So I still like juniors. So now I'm in juniors. I look and I see the Paramount. I was like, hey, what's this? So I have friends at Live Nation. So I called, and then they hooked it up for me. They got it done within 30 minutes.
Nice. Wow.
So we put this together in like a day, like that. So now I was never the host. I just was the person who got the venue and got like Busta Rhymes. I got Montel Jordan, Wyclef Jean, just by making phone calls. So it just so happened that, we didn't account. None of us ever threw a send away before. So it just so happened that I'm looking at the schedule. No one is introducing anyone. So I'm like, I just went and did it. Like, so it was a situation like that. But me and him were very, very tight the last 3 years of his life, whereas we spoke daily. And again, I don't know if that was by design from him or it just happened. We just wound up speaking every day, and he was teaching me things, and he was very much into music. So it's like we exchanged music or different things. So if I had a question about songs, or a question about what happened in different times, and like with hip hop and music, period, he would always tell me.
Who are you listening to these days, music wise? Any genre you can talk about, but who are you listening to?
I think I'm weird because I like early 60s, early 50s music. I'm starting to listen to like Muddy Waters,
Nothing weird about that.
Nothing weird about that at all.
Well, when I say that, Nina, it's just like because I may go on a date or something. I'm playing the music. They be like, "What the hell?" Like, you understand? Like, why are you listening to this? Because to me, it seemed like background music or something like that. So, that's what I enjoy listening to. But if I had to, being that I'm working on the radio and different things like that, I do listen to the current music. I know that, older people, they always say that this music is trash now, but I think that every generation is going to say the next generation music is trash. So it's just like, we're going to say that all day, hey, this is music is, you just got to find, what people enjoy in the music. I remember my mother used to tell me that, the only person that she liked that I played was Big Daddy Kane. And I used to be like, yo, you don't like this person? It's like, no, only Big Daddy Kane. So, so I know that, we're not going to like the new music of today. I'm liking from New York. I'm liking Cash Cobain. I'm liking a guy named Bossman D-Lo. And I like Sexy Red. People just like, oh, Sexy Red is not. I like Sexy Red. She's talking to a group of females that I think particularly hasn't got talking to in hip hop by me traveling from doing television. So there is a lot of sexy reds in this country that no one talks to. I think that everyone, when they see female rappers, they're all usually polished. When I say polished, meaning Sexy Red, to me is the Streetport, Louisiana regular girl. The regular girl that's in Des Moines, Illinois, and different things like that. Whereas a Lotto is, the regular girl in these big cities.
Right. You have to have
and that's really true. And that's a different kind of polish, because I think when you see some of them come, right, and you look really expensive. It looks like something that's not all the way relatable sometimes to people in different places, because it just feels cityfied. I have another radio question for you, because I'm curious about this. Like, so I know now with being on the radio, you do have maybe like a playlist you have to hit. How much of your own music do you get to say, and I'm also playing these records that might not be, say, even current or stuff that people know? Like, what's the percentage do you think you get to mix in?
Thank God I have a program director that believes and trusts in my music capability. So playlists, I don't particularly have a playlist, but you should also play it smart. And when I use the word play it smart, before I was on radio, I used to be like, oh, they're playing the same songs every day or all time, but in actuality, the majority of people want to hear the same songs.
Right.
I think that radio is primarily geared for sing-along. So me saying that to you is like, you'll pick up the request line. Yo, what you want to hear? Oh, can you play Drake? You hang up 2 minutes later. Yo, can you play Drake again? Like, yo, we just heard it. Yeah, but I like the song. So it's like, you be a fool to not play Drake again if everyone's calling and saying, I want to hear Drake. I think in life, we always pay attention, one, to the negative, and the one person who's upset is always the loudest.
Right.
Because they're upset. So maybe 1 or 2 people that I'm tired of hearing Drake, but it's 50 people that want to hear Drake. So those 50 people are quiet because they're happy. Right. The 1 or 2 people is the one that's going to be making the noise because they're not happy. So they're the ones. If you go to a restaurant and the food are not good, the food's not good, everybody who's enjoying their food, this food is good, they're quiet. The one that had the shitty service is the one, oh my God, so now, outside is like the whole, everybody's mad. No, just that one person is mad. So when I say that again, I've learned that it's just that, familiarity is key, and people and the majority of the people want to hear the songs that they are familiar with. You can also, what we call, sandwich them with new music. Yes, but and to that one new song is familiar with the other, with the other songs. It's just that I think that the misconception is people say, oh, we hear the same songs, and to be honest with you, the people who listen to radio, that's what they want to hear.
Right.
The same power, what we call power records. That's popular.
Right.
I still love the radio. I still listen to a radio. I have a radio that's in my bathroom that stays on, and each week I put it on a different station. And I will say, whenever I want hip hop, I'm always on 105.1.
Well,
That's
thank
just
you.
where
I
I go.
appreciate it.
That's where I go. That's
and
my station.
I'm going to hit you up at some point because I teach I teach the history of hip hop class at the Rock Nation program at LIU. So now that I have your phone number, it's across the street from Juniors.
Yes, and I have no problem going there.
It's right across the street from Juniors.
Yes,
we have to wrap this up. No pun intended. I'm so excited that we got to see you. I'm excited on a completely personal level because, as you know, you're one of my favorite humans. I'd like to think I helped raise you, even though I had nothing.
Yes,
to do
you 100% have. Yes, that's why I said the auntie. You understand?
And I'm really glad to see that you're doing so well. Please tell us some things you'd like to promote that you're doing so we can put it out there.
And where can people get your merch? Because
where can you get your merch? Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
So my merch is at Gwinin.com, but I think most importantly, I have a son. My son now, he wants to rap. So, so it's like, I just, anybody that's listening, watching or whatever, his music his name is Chance, CHXNCEE, Chance. He's the rapper now, and I just want people to enjoy his music. He's 18, so he's making 18-year-old songs.
Say no more. I mean, we always joke around when you talk about it, it's like it would be very sad if I just turned 65. It would be very sad if I was listening to Sexy Red going, I love her. There would be something wrong with that. It's not for us. It's not our demographic. There's no reason. And that doesn't make it wrong or bad. If it's good, it's good, but it's not for us.
I mean, she's had a couple of tunes that I'm going to have to say, honestly, that I find myself, it comes on, I'm like, okay.
Yeah, you're like, we're moving.
And you and I have talked about this. I don't know why I like Ice Spice, but I do.
No,
Okay.
I don't.
I do.
I don't either.
I don't know why I like her. And a couple of the times, there's a couple of those songs I'm like, but there were a couple of ones that I'm like, okay, I'm not mad at this. And I get it. If I was younger, that would be right all up in my shit. I'd be blasting it out the car.
But continue listening to old music and Muddy Waters, because if there's one thing, and you know this because you're a music person, and Courtney knows this because you're a music person, the worst thing you can be is say that you love music, but don't know anything other than what's immediately in front of your face.
I agree.
You should listen to everything, especially in hip hop, because all the influences, all the samples are coming from that, so you got to listen.
And you never know what can inspire you in a song. If you're working on music, it's like all of that stuff is pulled from old records, obscure records. I love for people to still discover music, especially when you're walking around with a full computer in your pocket. It's all very accessible, right in the palm of your hand.
Yes.
Yeah. So what I'm going to ask you to do is you can just send me, because when we post the show, and we'll put up on our page like anything, any links to anything.
Just my son. I mean, I'm really just I just wanted to promote my son.
We'll put his stuff up on the page. We'll absolutely put your stuff up.
Yeah, I just it's about him, man. I'm straight.
That's great.
But it's 18-year-old music.
That's good. Congratulations.
And guess what? It's summer, and there are a lot of 18-year-olds. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely are. There
it's
definitely
about that time of year. But thank you for coming on, man. We really appreciate it.
Yeah. I got to send you a picture of Lucian's kid. Have I sent you a picture of him yet? I gotta send it. You'll look at it. He's basically a shrunken Lucian.
Wow. He kind of sort of
you'll look at him and go.
He literally is like, okay, well, there's the second
Ralph
one.
saw him. He was calling him Mini Lush for like weeks, and he couldn't understand why Enzo wasn't responding. I said, well, maybe if you call him by his actual name, Ralph, instead of calling him Mini Lush, he might respond. All right, Courtney, take us out. Self, stay on after we cut, just we make sure.
All right, you know what the deal is, people. Thank you for listening to us on the Pantheon Podcast Network, the #1 music podcast network in the world. We're here. You're here with us. Amy is about to go on vacation soon. It's about to be our 5-year anniversary in like the beginning of June, like 5 years of doing this monstrosity. Can you believe it? Anyway, we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.